This is part 3 of how to crochet a Triceratops. So today we're going to be working on the head plate and the horns. If you're looking for other parts, then please refer to the description where I've got links to the other videos. So as you can see, I've just got some stitch markers on the head. So first of all, we're going to be working on the head plate. So just place the stitch markers about 1 inch up from the crease, and then make sure they're on the same row that goes all the way along the back of the head. So if you insert your hook into where we've placed the stitch marker, just on that very last row before the head goes flat at the back, we're just going to attach our yarn by pulling it through, and then I tie a little knot just to make it secure, and then we're going to chain 1, and then into the first stitch. This is going to be quite hard to pick up because your wool's going to be quite tense. You just pull through a stitch and do a single crochet, and I like to weave in the ends as I go along. Just going to do another single crochet. When we're doing this, we want to make sure it's flush with the same row, so we're not going across rows as we're picking up stitches. So after our first 3 single crochets, we're going to continue doing double crochet along the rest of this row until we reach the last 3 stitches before the next stitch marker, where we'll drop down to a single crochet again. So we start with 3 single crochets, do double crochet all the way around the top of the head until the last 3 stitches where we do a single crochet again, and then you should get something that looks just like this. So we're going to turn our work and chain 2, and then we're going to be doing double crochet. So you want to work in the 3rd stitch along from where we turned our work, and you want to do 3 double crochets into that same stitch, and then at the top we're going to chain 2, and then we're going to do 3 more double crochets into that same stitch. And then this will create a nice little pointy horn almost for our head plate. And then we're going to attach with a slip stitch back to the round previously. So I usually do this about 3 stitches along from that stitch we just worked into to keep it nice and uniform. And then we're going to repeat this pattern, so we're going to count 3 stitches along from where we just joined, and we're going to do 3 double crochets into that stitch. 1, 2, 3, insert a hook, do 3 double crochets, and then we're going to chain 2 and do 3 more double crochets all into that same stitch. And then we're going to rejoin it to the work using a slip stitch, and we're going to continue this all the way around. You should get 5 little pointy horn bits. So just at the end we're going to attach using our slip stitch. And then so at the end you can just cut off your yarn. We no longer need this colour, we're finished with the green. So you can just tie that off and weave in the ends. So here I am, I've just done a knot. Now I'm going to weave in the ends just to make sure that everything's nice and secure and it's not going to come loose. And then once you've pulled it through, you can just cut off the end and everything should be fine. Now we're going to do the white on top of the plate. So we're going to attach our white yarn to the green. So just insert your hook into that first stitch, pull the white yarn through, and then we're going to do a double knot like we did previously just to attach the yarn to the work. And then what we're going to be doing is a slip stitch all the way along the top rim of this plate. So insert your hook into the very first stitch and just pull it through and do a slip stitch. And I like to weave in the ends as I go, so I'm just picking up the back piece of that yarn as I work my slip stitches. So we're going to continue this all the way along the top of the head plate until we have a white outline. And it should hopefully look something like this once you're finished. And now we're going to be starting on the horns. So you're going to do a magic ring. And into this magic ring we're going to do 4 single crochets. going to pull that magic ring nice and tight, and I do a double knot just to make sure it's nice and secure and the magic ring doesn't come unravelled at all. And then into our next round we're going to increase. So in every stitch we are going to do 2 stitches. Now I'll bring our stitch count for this round to 8 single crochets. So for the next 2 rounds we're going to do a single crochet, so that will give us a stitch count of 8 stitches by the end of these 2 rounds, and this will form our front horn. So we want 1 of these, but for the next 2 horns that you make, these will be the back horns. So instead of 2 rounds of single crochet, you want 3 rounds of single crochet. So that will produce 2 slightly larger horns and then 1 smaller horn. So the smaller one is for the front and the 2 larger ones are for the back. So starting with the smaller front horn, I've just pinned it about just 1 round above the top of the nostrils, so the bottom is almost the same level as the nostrils. And I've just used a pin to hold it in place so I can make sure it's in the centre of my work. There is 1 round of stitches between the top of the horn and the eyes. So to insert using your yarn needle, just pick up 1 stitch from the head, pull that all the way through, and then we're going to pick up another stitch from the head and then a stitch from the horn, pull that all the way through, and we're going to be repeating this all the way around until the horn is nice and secure. So 1 stitch from the head, 1 stitch from the horn, and just do that same thing all the way around before tying it off and weaving in the ends like we've done previously. So here I'm finished, so I'm just going to tie off my yarn. And then I'm just going to weave in the ends to make sure it's nice and secure before just cutting off any loose ends. So now with the 2 larger horns, I placed them right at the back of the head, just beside the head plate. And I put them almost in like a diagonal line in line with the eyes. So as you can see, they're 3 rounds behind the eye, and they're just nice and in line. It's the same thing both sides, and again I've just used needles to hold it in place. So using our yarn needle, we're going to do the same as we did with this front horn, the smaller one. We're going to insert our hook into the head, just pull our yarn all the way through, and then we're going to reinsert it, picking up 1 stitch from the head and 1 stitch from the horn, pulling our yarn all the way through both. And we're going to continue this all the way around for both horns, and the tying off the ends in the same way we have done previously. And then hopefully when we've done that, you should have something that looks just like this.